Fans of the Horus Heresy, Dreadnoughts, and vaporizing your opponents with Martian death rays, thank you very much for joining me for an out-of-the-pack review. Goodness me, it has been some time since we did one of these. And well, here we are. We have the hands. Hello, say hello, hands. Hand 1 and hand 2. We have Le Table. And we have a package that has arrived today from the World of the Forge. And it is this. And what we have here is the latest release in the Forge World Horus Heresy range. And this is the Deredeo or Deredeo Dreadnought armed with the Falconet, Volkite carronade, and the Boreas anti-missile system. So yeah, that's what's in this pack. So this has been released today. Mine's turned up in this nice little packet. What we're going to do is we're going to unbox this and take a look at this new weapon option for the Deredeo. It's been a while since we've had a new weapon option, and this is quite an interesting one. So it's a bit of a departure in terms of what the Deredeo Dreadnought is designed to do on the battlefield. This is the first time we've had a weapon option that is more optimized towards fighting enemy infantry as opposed to shooting down aircraft and flyers. So we have the knife of opening, and we're going to do that. First things first, let us talk nomenclature. So the name of the Volkite weapon system is the Falconet or Falconet, depending on your inflection. I don't think it's Falconet, as far as I could tell. I don't think it's a silent T. It's Falconet, and we shall remove the Pridot Information. What it is, well, firstly, it's a small falcon in terms of the living creature. That is not the reason it has been used in the name for this new weapon system. And the reason for that is back in the 16th and 17th century or thereabouts, so back in the age of early black powder cannons, or relatively early ones, because of course they go all the way back to even before then, a small one was called a falconet. And they've chosen to use this name here. And all Volkite weapons, certainly in 30k, bear some sort of Renaissance canon name, shall we say, with the obvious exception of the Chirovile or Chiroville, which the Knight Styrics carries, which is, let's just call it a humorous Latinization. So what we have is we have the actual Deredeo's chassis itself. This is obviously this is a kit that's been around for a good few years now. I was feeling a little bit like treating myself, so I decided, shall I just get the weapons? No, I'm going to get the whole thing. So we have actual Dreadnought itself, and then we have some other stuff. Now, not all of this is mine. We have this, which is the Volkite Falconet battery itself, or Falconet battery. So that's the first thing. And then we also have the Boreas air defense missiles. There's another really interesting thing to talk about in this review. That is my Dreadnought. There are another 2 sets of Boreas, and those are for a friend of mine. So, you know, you've always got to get over the minimum postage where you can, so we shall put those to one side. It would also appear that within the box we have also got the gift guide. So if you haven't already decided what you're going to spend your Christmas money on, or you know, if you've got a significant other who collects, say, anything from the Warhammer range, and you want to buy them stuff, because of course they always need more stuff, this is going to be full of ideas. Was that advertising? Oh dear, I better not do any of that. Yeah, so nomenclature-wise, so they've kind of stuck with the naming convention of using these ancient canon names for Volkite weaponry. And of course, Volkite weaponry is like the iconic weapon system of the Heresy. Most Volkite weapons only exist in Heresy. Changed a bit, some have cropped into 8th. So, do we want to have a look at the actual Deredeo body itself? Well, I suppose we could have at least a little nosy. I've never actually unbagged one of these. I've reviewed my Iron Hands Deredeo, and from a number of years back. That was ready assembled. I did a few videos around that, like how to magnetize certain weapons, but yeah, I've not unboxed one before. So, how's it look? It's pretty decent to me. I mean, There's a couple of shims to take away, a bit of cleanup to do here and there. This looks pretty good actually, this. I suspect that this may be a new mould, so that looks pretty sharp. A little bit of tidy up to do around here. Yeah, that's looks good. You get a round 80mm base. We also have 2 leg bits. Got quite scratchy resin, so that's obviously the end of a, well, scratchy resin, not scratchy resin, that's the wrong way of putting it, but coloration, that's because it's the end of a batch, but actually looks like it's been cast okay. And then we've got 2 leg bits. Got a bit of an icky slippy there. And another one there. So I'll have to have a look at that later, see what I think about that. Certainly at least a fair bit of work to do there. The chest-mounted weapons, which is either a pair of heavy flamers, twin-linked heavy flamers, or a twin-linked heavy bolter. I'm still unconvinced as to the utility of putting heavy flamers on a Deredeo, but if you think otherwise in the comments, please do tell me how you think they work well. And then we've got the power pack, 2 knee pads, and the Dreadnought helm, which of course is like a robotic thing. There's no marine head in it because the remains of the Battle Brother are somewhere in there. 2 feet, nice big chunky feet because it needs a big stable position or firing stance. And then that is the actual hip itself. Plenty of cleanup to do around there. But overall, that looks pretty good. I mean, most of that looks good. The only bit that I'm not so sure about are these. And that's because you have this mold slip across here. So I don't know. I've done quite a few of these. I might be able to put that right. Probably will actually. Be nicer if it wasn't there, as always. Right, what else do we have here? So, shall we start? Of course, we're going to start with this, aren't we? So, the Falconet battery. Now, this is an interesting weapon in terms of in-game performance. It's a classic Volkite, so it is heavy 6, strength 7, AP 5. So it compares to the Demi-Culverin in its hitting power. However, range-wise, this is significantly reduced on what we've seen before. It's only range 30. Volkite weapons come in range increments of 15 inches. So chargers at 15, Calivers at 30, and Culverins and Demi-Culverins, and the rest are at 45, if I remember rightly. These are only 30, so for their size, they're certainly Culverin-sized weapons. They only have a range of 30. However, they are swapping the range for a special rule called Neural Shredder, and it basically allows attacks from this Dreadnought to inflict pinning results on infantry. So definitely gives the Deredeo platform, or as it was known back in the day of Rogue Trader, the Eddie. So I'll call it Eddie for the rest of this review. Probably not, I'll annoy people. A new lease of life on the tabletop, because now we have what was traditionally a anti-aircraft stroke anti-armor Dreadnought. Has now taken on an interesting new capability as an anti-infantry one. So let us have a look at some bits. So this is brand new, new release. Let's see what the casting quality is like. Well, these cooling fins or coil chargers look really, really nice. Very nice. Got a bit of a misalignment here. However, that in itself won't matter because we have this piece here, which is going to cover over there. And you can see it's going to go something like that. How does this one look? Slight bit of mold break there, easy to clean. Yeah, that's really nice, yeah. Ace. Looks really cool. Great. Oh, I love Volkite weapons. Yeah, they look really, really neat. And you've, oops, nearly dropped it. You've got the classic styled firing aperture on muzzle. I don't know what you would call it on these things, given that they're radiation weapons. Slightly more squared off than some. Slightly different look, but yeah, really nice. I thought the neural shredder rule is quite an interesting one, because there are certain weapons that have been tested in real life, radiation weapons, and the US military tested one of these, actually live tested it in Afghanistan of all places, which, yeah, it was a microwave radiation weapon, which was designed to be a non-lethal weapon to cause discomfort to people's skins by agitating the nerves. So obviously this is a destructive weapon at strength 7 AP5, but the neural shredder rule is indicating it has a bit of that morale effect as well. Good, because pinning weapons in 30k are quite rare but very useful. Well, unless you play Iron Warriors, of course, in which case you have more heavy bolters with pinning than you know what to do with, thanks to their shrapnel bolts. Right, we have 2 sets of power cables, which are going to connect the charged doodars with the actual Falconet barrels. And I've got a slip there to sort out. I'll probably cut down or fill. Got another bit to fix up there. Pretty good though. Overall very good. Better than pretty good, I'd say. Little air bubble there to fill. You could probably do that with super glue and some accelerant quite easily. A couple of seams to clean away on that one, and then we'll bob those 2 down, and we'll do this thing next, because these are the least in new. These are just the shoulder joints for the weapon. So if you want to magnetize, it is a good candidate for doing so. And yeah, they look really good. A little bit of mold seamage to clean away, but all the detail is crisp, sharp, and aligned. Okay, these are, I suppose these are power packs, or I suppose batteries, I suppose you might say, for the Falconets. Right, so we'll do this one first, and then I'm going to have a moan at the next one. That's good, yeah, all looks nice. This one, however, has a bit of a icky mold slip. Fortunately, it is limited to here, although you can see this is why I bemoan mold slips so much. Being misaligned, it puts the rivet details out of alignment, and that's quite a lot that on the size of part. So as to what I'll do with that, that might cut down, but looking at it, I'm tending more towards building up the shape using some milliput. So yeah, there is work to do on that, but it will fix, so it's not the end of the world. Now, just spotted this out of the corner of my eye. This is new. They've now included a set of building instructions and parts list within the backing card or the backing paper in the actual model. So this is nice, and definitely a welcome addition to assembling these models, because I've not seen things like this much. Maybe this is the way of how these are going to go now with blisters. We're going to get CAD instructions on how to build them. Certainly all the CAD generated models, at least. I don't think they'll go back and do it for models that were hand sculpted. They could do photograph versions of those, right. Then we also have the second new weapon that comes as part of this set, the new release that's just come out this weekend, which is the Deredeo Dreadnought Boreas air defense missiles. So this is a rack of 4 missiles. Now, this has been demoed for 18 months, 2 years since we first saw it, and I am optimistic now that this has been released. Forge World's sales team are building a bit of Deredeo hype, and we are going to see the mystical Atomantic Pavis or Atomantic Pavis released soon. So fingers crossed, because we all want one of those. So let us open this up. Now, this is an intriguing mixture of weapons here, because these things are You buy it as 4 one-shot missiles as a single weapon option. So in lieu of the Atomantic Device or the EOS, I actually can't remember its name now exactly, missile system. And these are one-shot independently tracking, and I was kind of having some discussion as to whether or not you can fire all 4 in one turn at different targets. So someone made a good case on Twitter that you could, in which case this thing, gives this thing quite a bit of immediate takedown power. Give your views on that as to whether or not you think you can do that in the comments. So we have got the main turret itself. So there's a shim to remove there, and an air bubble to just fill there. But that looks nice and clean. You can tell these are new. There's hardly any release agent on them. Very cleanly cast parts, certainly the weapons. This is the actual missile rack itself. Space for some small magnets if you are keen. That was good. And then we actually have the missiles themselves. So these are pretty cool. Interesting design there with the air intakes. Maybe these are some ramjet powered missiles. They are obviously air breathing given these, so maybe they are like the they've got some inspiration from the newly deployed Meteor missile that the RAF is equipping the Eurofighter Typhoon with. I do like the design. So that's 1. That's 2. Bit of a slip there at the back, but that'll clean up fine. 3. Got a slip in the same place at the back there. Again, it's not too big. I think that'll clean up okay. Top's all very nice. Got 4. We've got rear fins or winglets, and then forward canards on the missiles, if that's the correct way to describe those. And then the 4th of 4. Again, got a little bit of misalignment there at the back, which will need cleaning up. But overall, very clean, not much gunge on them, and overall nicely cast. So there you go. I think that's everything. Yeah, that is everything there for the newly released Deredeo Dreadnought, armed with the Volkite Falconet battery. That's a bit of a mouthful to say, even when sober, and the Boreas air defense missiles as well. So, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. As always, please do share your thoughts and observations down in the comment section. In particular, do you see a in-game use for these this new spin on Volkite weapons? I'll be interested to hear that. And yeah, do you think these one-shot killer missiles will work as well? As always, I'm interested to hear. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.